You guys, there's so many challenges in living right now in Florida. There are issues with homeowners insurance, with the fact that real estate prices have shot up so much, and for a lot of people, buying real estate in Florida is unattainable. And then you know what? Home improvement costs, the cost of hiring somebody to get you a new roof, hurricane-proof windows, is just insane in Florida. And so I'm going to be talking to you very freely about what I have issues with right now as somebody that owns a home here. So this video by no means is about discouraging you to move here, but it really is about ensuring that you know some of the key pain points that a lot of us homeowners are dealing with right now here in Florida, so that if you make the decision to move to Florida, or maybe you're somebody that already lives here and you're looking to purchase a home, you know what you really need to account for. You know what you're getting yourself into. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is Katrin. I'm a real estate agent in the Southwest region in Florida. If you enjoy this type of content, do me a favor, like this video. I really appreciate it, first of all, but also it does help out the performance of this video. So without further ado, let's actually get right into what really has been bugging me. Let's talk about the homeowners insurance market, which is a real pain point for most Floridians that own a home here in Florida. And I actually just recently talked to an insurance broker to get her insights. And I'm going to share a link to that video towards the end of this video in case you haven't seen it yet. But it's always good to go to the source and get information from there. But here in a nutshell is what's going on. So our prices have gone up so much over the last few years. On average, a person here in Florida is paying about $4,000, $4,000 to $5,000 on homeowners insurance. I myself am paying $5,000. We're just, what feels like a year and a half to 2 years ago was half of that. And there's talk about major increases coming in yet again. We can expect increases to be anywhere from 5 to maybe 30% on average based on what a recent insurance broker had told me, but it could be way higher. And in some cases, it could also be lower. And you know, that's disconcerting to many people who are on a tight budget, especially those who are retired here, who purchased, they're retired here, and they're really needing to stick to a tight budget. Having your bills all of a sudden increase by a few $1,000s a year extra, not knowing when the increases are going to stop, is really hard to work through. Do I think that the homeowners insurance market is going to get better in the future? You know, I don't actually see the light at the end of the tunnel yet. I believe that with more competition, with tighter regulations, we can stabilize the prices. I just don't know when that's going to happen. And if we get another hurricane, so we're in hurricane season right now, but it doesn't really get bad until about August, September, October. That's typically the 3 months when I worry about a hurricane the most. If we get another one that comes through here, and it doesn't matter where it hits in Florida, it could hit in Miami, it could hit in the Panhandle the next time, we all pay into it. I have a lot of buyers who are very surprised by the fact that their homeowner's insurance bill has gone up, even though they're in a location that's never been hit. Their home has never been hit. Unfortunately, we all pay into it. But I also like to put everything in perspective. So there was a video that garnered a lot of views on YouTube, lots of views. We're talking about millions of views. The person essentially poo-pooed the homeowners insurance market in Florida, which, okay, I can understand. It is challenging for us all to deal with, but there were a lot of inaccuracies in the video. So for example, he said that now everybody in Florida is required to get flood insurance, not just homeowners insurance, but flood insurance. And that is just not true. So first off, if you're somebody that's purchasing a cash, you don't need to get homeowners insurance. You don't need to get flood insurance, right? You can self-insure. I wouldn't recommend it, but you don't. But a lot of you are going to be purchasing via a mortgage. If you're financing your house, then you're required to get homeowners insurance. Now, if you're in a flood zone, say you're in flood zone AE, then your lender is most likely going to require that you get flood insurance as well. But that's not what he said. He said everybody is required to get flood insurance. If you're in a flood zone X and you're financing, you will not need to get flood insurance unless you're with Citizen Property. And apparently that won't be passed through as a mandate up until 2027. So just wanted to put that out there because it was misleading, that statement this person made. He made it seem like that living in South Carolina, it's so much more affordable. And yes, it's more affordable, but then you have to ask yourself, how important is it that I live somewhere where the weather is warm year round, where I am close to some of the most beautiful, beautiful beaches. And so as with pretty much everything, we have to put things into perspective and determine what is important to me. But here's what you also have to think about. If you're somebody that's still working, you are not getting taxed on state income tax in Florida. You are in South Carolina. So I ran a calculation utilizing Forbes Advisor's calculator online on $70,000 income, okay? So if you were to make $70,000 in South Carolina, you have to pay South Carolina state tax, which comes out to $3,500. Yes, homeowners insurance is cheaper in South Carolina, but guess what? You have to pay state income tax, right? If you're somebody that's retired, you may not really care about that as much, but if you're still working, that's a big one. So I compared South Carolina average cost to insure a home to Florida, where Florida came in at about $4,600, okay? South Carolina is coming in at $3,000, and that's the average cost to insure a home with over $500,000 in dwelling coverage. If we look at just the average cost to insure a typical home in South Carolina, it's about $1,300. In Florida, it's about $2,100. And so the home insurance crisis in Florida, the costs involved are going to differ very much depending on where you live, the type of home you have. If you have a new construction home, the cost for home insurance is going to be far lower. If you're close to the coast, it typically is more expensive. So there's a lot of variables that go into pricing these home insurance costs, right? And so you may actually see some people on my videos saying, well, I only pay $1,000 on homeowners insurance, and then some are coming back saying they're getting stuck with a bill that's $8,000, $9,000. It really depends on location, the type of home you have, the build, how updated it is. Now, I will say this, that the cost to improve a house has gotten so crazy expensive here in Florida. It's just insane. So I myself am looking to get hurricane-proof windows. And so I've talked to about 4 different providers, installers. They all quoted me PGT Wingard windows. The quotes that I'm getting are between $80,000 to $120,000, which first off is super expensive because just a few years ago, the cost of hurricane-proof windows were just a fraction of that. And also, how can the cost differ so much between these different providers? It's just insane. And so here's one recommendation for you. If you're looking to improve your house, make sure you talk to at least 3 or 4 different providers, and also make sure that they're Better Business Bureau rated. And if you can, try to get information from somebody else who's actually utilized their services. I think that's invaluable. But at the very least, make sure they're reputable and that they have a good warranty in place. But so now I'm dealing with these high costs of improving my house. Do I do it? Do I not do it? Will prices come back down again next year? What if we have another hurricane that comes through? Will there be more demand for hurricane-proof windows? My point being is the prices of home improvement jobs have gone through the roof. And that's if you can even get somebody to work in your house. For some of the smaller jobs, say it's a $5,000 job, that's considered smaller. It's hard to even get labor to come in and help you out. A lot of you are looking to update your roofs. I've seen some of the recent quotes come through, and this is here in Sarasota for a shingle roof. $30,000 for a 2,000 square foot home. Now, I know the pitch of the roof matters, but let's just say the roof costs are insane. My neighbor is getting quotes for his tile roof. His house is about 3,000 square feet, $80,000 to $100,000. It's just gotten so expensive to improve your house here in Florida. In some places in Florida, in Sarasota, for example, if you were to do a pricing analysis, new construction versus existing home that you bring up to the level of new construction when it comes to renovation updates, that in many cases it may make more sense to purchase a new construction home versus a home that needed some updates and you're willing to put the work in. You would want to run that analysis, talk to your local agent to help you kind of do that analysis. Less and less of you can now afford purchasing a home, and I truly believe that everybody should have the choice of being able to live in their own house or renting. The affordability has gone really down, especially for those people where the wages just haven't held up with the price increases. I'm going to show you this chart, and it's from Redfin. It looks at the median sales price as of May of this year. And there's 2 points I want to make based on this chart. Okay, so first off, when we look at Florida, which is the black line, the median price as of May of this year was $407,000. The U.S. median price is $419,000. Years ago, Florida trended quite a bit below the U.S. median, and now it's really close to what it costs on average in the United States to purchase a home. This is median sales price for all types of homes. Got single family homes in there, condos, co-ops, and so forth. Now let's move up. The lines here, New Jersey, $478,000. New York, and this is New York State, $525,000. California State, $786,000. The really high line over there in orange, that is Manhattan, so a small part of New York, $1.3 million. 2 points I'm going to make here. First off, there's a lot of places across the United States where prices are still way more expensive. And these states that are more expensive on this chart is actually also where a lot of the people are moving from. So they can afford the life here in Florida because where they're moving from, it's more expensive still. But also looking at this chart, you'll see that the prices just across the board, except for Manhattan, it's a little bit more choppy here, prices have increased across all these states. You know, there's seasonality built into it, and so you'll see, you know, from a visual standpoint, that line kind of going up and down, but if you were to draw a line through it, it typically does go up over a long period of time. So point being is that prices haven't just shut up here in Florida, they've shut up across many different states in the United States. A lot of those that are purchasing in Florida right now are coming from places that are way more expensive. And that makes it more difficult for those people who live here in Florida because their income hasn't risen. But what they're starting to see is these prices go up, up, and up. And so it is frustrating because you're somebody that's maybe looking to purchase and you just don't know, do I purchase now or do I wait for a pricing correction or a price drop? And my recommendation to you is follow the data, follow credible economists. And they don't always get it right, but at the very least, they're educated in making these economic assertions. Just stick to what feels right for you. Gut feeling is just something that I always try to follow. If it doesn't feel right for you, don't do it. If you're somebody that's going to be living in a place, say 7 to 10 years, then you're really mitigating the risk if you were to purchase, because shall there be a real estate crash, you'll be in that house long enough to really ride it out, especially if the other option would have been to rent at kind of the same high level as your mortgage bills would be. There's talk that the mortgage interest rates are going to start dropping towards the end of the year. Nobody really knows, but maybe if you're financing, wait a few more months, maybe wait another 6 months and see if the mortgage interest rates are at a much more favorable level for you. And that's also going to give you time to understand what the real estate market is doing this year, because it truly is confusing. So my point today was to share the truth with you in terms of how I feel as a homeowner, what I go through, and also what I'm seeing as a real estate agent that is working with a lot of buyers, that is talking to a lot of buyers. And my recommendation for you is to make sure that you look at the data and really understand your own budget. How much will it cost me to live in Florida? how much will it save me or not save me? Should I get a new construction home or purchase an existing home and update it later? I mean, there's a lot of data that you can pull together to help you make those comparisons. Now, I understand that many of you are going to be moving from outside of Florida, so a lot of the costs that we incur here in Florida are going to be new to you. And I wanted to make sure that I had something helpful for you. And so I created an Excel spreadsheet that captures probably about 90 to 95% of the costs that you need to at least anticipate, think through as a homeowner, depending on what type of home you purchase. And I'm going to share that with you. I'm going to link to the Excel spreadsheet in the description section of this video. And just make sure that you update the costs, because I put averages in there for Florida, but those costs are really going to depend on where you live. So you're going to want to talk to some of the local service providers, talk to your real estate agent that can kind of help navigate those costs with you. Guys, do me a favor, if you enjoyed this conversation that we had today, like this video, I really appreciate it. Listen, I was just trying to share my issues with Florida living right now, especially as it relates to being a homeowner. My intentions has always been to provide you with factual information, understanding that I love living here. So I'm not trying to get anybody not to move to Florida, to Sarasota. I absolutely love living here, but I'm also somebody that is very upfront as to you understanding what the costs involved are. And so make sure you know what you're getting yourself into, do your homework. Now, if you're somebody that's looking to purchase or sell in the Sarasota, Bradenton, Venice, and Lakewood Ranch area, would love to be your realtor of choice. Call me, email me anytime. I love hearing from all you guys. Absolutely. Thank you again. Take care.